Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're demystifying a framework that has totally changed the game for how businesses handle their tech. It's called ITIL. And all the great info we're digging into today comes from a deep dive report by Virtualization Options LLC, a technology research and advisory group based out of Colorado. So, let's jump right in.
So, let me ask you something. Think about your company's IT department. Are they a true partner helping you move forward, or do they sometimes feel like a roadblock? I think we've all been there, right? You've got a problem or a great new idea, but getting the tech side sorted out just takes forever. It's a huge issue when the very team meant to speed things up actually slows them down. But what if there was a better way? Well, that is exactly where ITIL comes into play. ITIL, which stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library, is basically a playbook. It's a collection of best practices designed to do one thing incredibly well: make sure IT services are perfectly aligned with what the business actually needs. The whole point is to transform IT from just a support desk into a powerful strategic partner.
Now, you might be thinking this is some new fad, but ITIL has been around for a while, and honestly, its history is a big reason why it's so credible and trusted. So let's take a quick look at where this whole thing started.
Believe it or not, this all kicked off in the 1980s. The UK government was looking for a smarter, more standard way to manage all its IT services, and it worked so well that it just exploded in popularity. By the 90s and 2000s, companies all over the globe were adopting it. But what's really cool is that it hasn't just sat there collecting dust. It's constantly evolved, with the latest version, ITIL 4, bringing in modern ideas like Agile and DevOps to stay totally relevant.
Okay, so that's the history. But how does it actually work? Well, the heart and soul of ITIL is what's known as the service lifecycle. The best way to think of it is as a journey or a roadmap for delivering real value with technology.
And that journey is broken down into these 5 clear stages. But don't just think of it as a straight line. It's more like a continuous loop. You come up with a strategy, you design the service, you transition it into the real world, you operate it every day, and this is key, you are always looking for ways to make it even better.
Everything kicks off with strategy. This is the 10,000-foot view. Before anyone even thinks about code or hardware, you're asking the really big questions. What are we actually trying to accomplish as a business? And, critically, how can technology be a secret weapon to help us get there? So, once you know what you need to do, the next stage, service design, is all about the how. This is the blueprint phase. You're mapping everything out to make sure the services you build are not only going to work, but they're also going to be reliable, secure, and affordable. It's about turning that big vision into a practical plan.
Next up, service transition. This stage is so important. It's the bridge that takes your beautiful design and brings it into the real world, safely. This is all about managing the build, the testing, and the rollout, so that when you launch, you do it without causing a meltdown or disrupting the whole business.
And once a service is live and out in the wild, you enter service operation. This is the daily grind. This is about keeping the lights on, making sure everything runs smoothly day in and day out, and, dealing with any issues that pop up, whether it's a small incident or a bigger underlying problem. And this last stage, continual service improvement, is honestly what makes ITIL so powerful. See, it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's a built-in commitment to always be measuring, always be learning, and always using data to find ways to make your services just a little bit better, faster, and more valuable. So, going through those 5 stages, that's the how of ITIL. But there's also a really important why, a core philosophy that guides everything. These principles are what make the whole framework so effective in the real world. And one of the most important guiding principles is this one right here. Keep it simple and practical. I love this. ITIL is not about creating a mountain of paperwork or endless red tape. It's about finding the smartest, most efficient way to deliver value, period.
And you can really see the difference this makes. So instead of having like a dozen meetings just to approve a tiny software patch, the ITIL approach is to create a smart, automated process for low-risk stuff. Instead of building a custom solution for every little thing, it says, hey, let's see what tools we already have.
It's all about being pragmatic. All right, so we've covered the what, the how, and the why. But let's get down to brass tacks. What's in it for the business? What are the actual tangible results you get when you adopt ITIL? First up, and this one's a biggie, the quality of your services just gets better. When you have standard, predictable processes, you get more reliable and consistent results. And that leads directly to happier users and customers because they know what to expect and they can actually depend on IT.
Second, your whole organization just becomes way more efficient. When you streamline how work gets done, you're cutting out waste, you're using your people and your budget smarter, and yeah, you end up saving money. Less time gets wasted on repetitive tasks, and more time is spent creating real value.
And third, ITIL is a massive help when it comes to managing risk. Because you have these solid, proven processes for things like making changes or fixing outages, you're just far less likely to have a major disaster that brings the business to a halt. You can see problems coming and handle them before they blow up. So, if you're listening to all this and thinking, yeah, my organization or maybe even my own career could really use this, let's chat about what comes next. How do you actually get started with ITIL? Well, for individuals, there's a really clear certification path. You start out with the foundation level, which gives you a great overview of all the core ideas. From there, you can specialize in different areas with the intermediate certs and climb the ladder all the way up to ITIL Expert and even ITIL Master, which is the top of the mountain. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. At the end of the day, ITIL isn't just about making the IT department better, it's about making the whole business better. So the real question to ask yourself is this: how much more could your business achieve if your technology was no longer just a cost, but a true, powerful engine driving you towards your biggest goals?